Story 1 by Vegetable Ad 9619. My 43F daughter Lara, 17F, has been struggling to focus on her studies, with her brothers Kyle, 12M, and Ryan, 9M, constantly disrespecting her privacy. A few days ago, she was yelling for Kyle to come to her room. I asked her what happened. She explained that Kyle flipped all her items upside down. I called Kyle to come and flip everything right side up. Yesterday, Ryan was running into her room and kept stealing her stuff while she ran to get them back. On the night of the same day, Lara was trying to sleep when the brothers suddenly barged in and ran through it, resulting in her screaming at them to stay out and close the door while she was sleeping. To give a few examples, today in the morning, her father, 48M, told her he didn't like the way she was screaming. She said that she was trying to sleep and her brothers were making all kinds of ruckus. He told her that they are kids and they will learn. She said that they will never learn and the only way for them to learn is to have locks installed for her room. He did not want her to, and they went back and forth on this until she threatened she would move out as soon as she became financially independent, since she wasn't going to wait for them to mature, and they should already know to respect her privacy, to which he said to wait to include me in the conversation. I overheard, and when she went to her room, I told her she wasn't going to have locks set up, because she already wastes her time without the need for locks, and I don't want her to fail. Lara said that they were never going to listen without them, and I told her that I would make sure they wouldn't enter her room. This evening, I heard her shouting for me. We were all in the living room. Her father explained what was going on. Lara said that she was making Kyle tea when he did he's not allowed to do. She said that she was going to tell on them, and he said that if she promises to not tell, he and Ryan will never go into her room again. She didn't say anything, so they ran upstairs to her room. I told her that she has no right to complain, since she always sleeps in Kyle's room after school. Her brothers all agree, and Lara calls all of us the worst. None of us are allowed in her room, and leaves. She comes back after a minute and says that she only sleeps in Kyle's room because he never uses it aside from sleeping at night, and if he was to use it for studying, then she would never go there. Meanwhile, they constantly disturb her, mess with her stuff, and made her unable to sleep just last night. I told her if they ever go into her room, she needs to go to me. Then Kyle starts saying that they had the right to go into her room while she was trying to sleep because they were playing. Lara yelled at him, then said that she couldn't wait to move out soon so she no longer has to deal with them. She also called me an awful mother for not giving her bedroom locks. Yes, major a-hole here. You are darn selfish, putting those spoiled brats before the needs of your daughter. She will be 18 soon. Don't be surprised when she moves out and cuts you out. Mothers like you sicken me. She's 17, not 10. She needs her privacy, and your spoiled spawns are only making things difficult for her. You're doing nothing to help her feel safe in her own room. What if those spawns walk in on her while she's getting dressed? Either you as a woman would understand, but it's sad that you don't give a damn. Do you job and be her mom before it's too late? Looks like she's going to be 18 soon, and if I was her I'd definitely cut you OFF. Story 2 by Particular Bar 9216. AITA for spending my daughter's tuition money? Our daughter is 20F, and she recently decided to go back to college after taking a year off. She dropped out of college a few months saying it wasn't for her. We adamantly advised against it, but she ended up moving in with her boyfriend and started working in his family's restaurant business. There was still a little north of $30K set aside in the account I set aside for her tuition money. My wife and I had been wanting to remodel our kitchen for a while, so decided to go ahead with that money. Well, now my daughter has decided to go back to college because it didn't work out with her boyfriend, and she didn't like any of the jobs she had following that. She was shocked that we had used her college money towards the house, even though we had this conversation before she left. She asked if she could have access to her college tuition account before she moved in with her boyfriend, to which we explicitly said no, and said that was saved for her tuition only and nothing else, and that if she left we'd use it for something else. She said she thought we were bluffing and didn't actually mean it, and that we need to help her pay for college since we are still paying for her younger brother's yearly tuition. I told her she needs to work part-time and go to a cheaper place like community college rather than a state school. She's been angry over this and ignoring her mother's phone calls. Her mother has said maybe we can still help her out financially, but we're nearing our retirement age and a little behind our retirement goals, so I don't want to take away from our savings just because my daughter made some bad choices. I feel like I have given her good alternatives, and even offered to let her stay at our house free of rent so she can just focus on paying for college. AITA, Nope, NTA. Your daughter is reaping the consequences of her idiotic actions. Here goes another young adult who thinks she knows best and believes she doesn't need the advice of her parents to make it in life. You warned her and she didn't listen. Seems to me that she wants an easy ticket. Let her work and pay her tuition on her own. She's still being stubborn by refusing to take up your offer. Story 3 by Christmas_Joy231. AITA for not allowing my daughter's half-sister to spend Christmas with us. My ex-husband and I got divorced 7 years ago. We share custody of our 13-year-old daughter. He got married and has a 5-year-old daughter with his now wife. His daughter would spend time with my daughter regularly. They adore each other, but she doesn't come to my house, and they rarely meet up there. His wife has been diagnosed with cancer and has started treatment recently. The other day he came to drop our daughter off and asked to speak to me. He talked about his wife's circumstances, then how his family won't be able to have a Christmas celebration this year. He said it wasn't fair for his daughter and asked if I could include her in my family's celebration. He pointed out how the girls will have a great time together bonding and making memories, but I said I was sorry, but my family's traditional celebration is a sacred thing and I do not feel comfortable including anyone else. Plus it'd be awkward having her in my home. He said that his daughter may not be family to me, but she sure is to her half-sister. He asked me to stop and think about what's best for the kids here. I suggested he take his daughter to spend Christmas with her grandparents. He said his parents and him are NC, and tried to cut the conversation short, but he stopped me and started going on about how cruel it was for me to decline to include his daughter who's already having a hard time adjusting. I saw that he was beginning to cry, so I stepped back and said I was no longer feeling comfortable having this conversation. I asked him to leave and he did, but still texted me asking me to agree to let his daughter come spend Christmas, even offered that he stays away if that'll make me less uncomfortable. I said no, and now he's calling me selfish and unfeeling. A point worth mentioning here, and that is my family are going to attend, and they said that they too will not feel comfortable in this situation, thus I said it'd be awkward. NTA, your husband is being selfish right now, and not really thinking about his daughter. What happens if that's the last Christmas his daughter gets to spend with her mom? I think the won't be able to celebrate Christmas is a choice, and he's looking for a way to not have to deal with his daughter while his wife is sick on such a holiday. Instead of harassing you about it, he needs to make the most of Christmas and every other holiday that comes with his wife and daughter while his wife is still there. Don't feel bad about your decision. Who knows if you happen to take his daughter and her mother passes? Who's to say she won't blame you for taking her from what would be the last Christmas with her mother? Dark, I know, but it is what it is. Story 4 by Vermicelli OK 3192. AITA for not giving my daughter her father's last name? I'm going to keep the background information to the facts as much as possible. I, 33F, have a daughter, for F, with my ex-partner, 33M. The pregnancy was unplanned and happened despite using contraception. We spoke about what we wanted to do, and he was clear he didn't want to be involved. While I'd never really considered having children, actually being pregnant changed my mind, and I decided I'd like to keep my baby. We parted on not horrendous terms. I obviously wasn't happy about becoming a single parent, but I respected his decision. My ex-partner was not involved in the pregnancy, or the birth, or the first 6 months of our daughter's life. He then had a car accident, which I won't go into, but it changed his view on things. He sought me out and asked if he could be involved in his daughter's life. It was very difficult at first. I had just struggled through pregnancy, birth, and taking care of a newborn alone, so I wasn't thrilled he just waltzed back in. But I wanted my daughter to know her father, so agreed to let him see her. He was genuinely remorseful and has, from that point onwards, been a fantastic father. He contributes financially and emotionally and shares half of all the parenting duties, dropping her off at school, picking her up, looking after her when she's poorly, etc. We now have a good custody agreement, a legal agreement. We didn't go to court, but we did speak to solicitors to have an agreement written up, with our daughter spending about 60% of her time with me versus about 40% with him. Things between us are good. We aren't together romantically, but we're on very good terms, and our daughter is happy, which is the key thing for both of us. Recently, he's asked me if I'd consider changing our daughter's last name to his. Right now, she has my last name. I said no. I tried to be nice about it, but I'm the one who grew and gave birth to her with no support from him. He was not involved in that part of her life at all, and I don't feel comfortable changing her name to his for a few reasons. For one thing, she's very young, and I think it would be confusing to her at this point to change her name, especially as she's just started school. And secondly, It could cause issues for me if I don't share my daughter's last name. I said I'd be happy to consider double-barreling our names, as he has proved himself to be a fantastic father, but that I wasn't changing it to solely his name. I also told him we could give her the choice of choosing his name if she'd like to when she's older. We're British, so the custom is for children to take their father's name. I spoke to my parents about this, expecting them to be on my side, but they both made it clear they think I should change her name and that I'm being unreasonable because it's normal for children to have their father's name. Ida, your parents need to shut up and sit down. Excuse me? Just because he's the father doesn't mean the child has to have his last name. NTA, do not change her last name to his. If it wasn't for his accident, you'd still be a single parent struggling to care for her on your own. He was the one who willingly walked out and gave you no support after finding out you were pregnant, and now he thinks he has the right just because he's a part of her life now. No, do not give in. Don't even bother putting his name behind yours, because he'll make it difficult for you to travel with her, using it as leverage. You're the primary parent. Don't compromise your life to satisfy his needs. He sure as hell wasn't willing to do the same before his accident. Use that as a wake-up call. Die on that hill if you have to. Don't be surprised if his fathering changes because you refuse to do this. Story 5 by aitavegandaughter. AITA for not letting my daughter go vegan. My wife and I have 8 kids between us. I know, it's a lot. No need to comment on it. This post is mostly about our 13-year-old, Gina. Gina came to me recently and said that she wants to be vegan. I told her I'll pay for groceries, but she'll have to plan and cook her meals. She can't live off of frozen food or takeout, and her mom and I will be making sure that her meals are healthy before taking her grocery shopping. She was not thrilled. She asked if we could make small changes to our diet to accommodate her, like switching to a vegan pasta and cooking the meatballs separately, but we said no because we aren't going to change our food/eating habits because she wants to be vegan. She said okay and went to her room. Then she started sending me and my wife links to expensive pots and pan sets. One set was $800, plates, cups and bowls for $200, and her own utensils. I asked why she was sending it to me, and she said she needs new pots, pans, plates, etc., because ours are contaminated. I told her ours are perfectly fine, and if she wants her own, she can buy it then with her allowance and start babysitting. Later that day, I got a call from one of my sons saying that Gina was telling him and my other kids that they have to get all of their snacks out of the fridge in the game room. The game room has a kitchenette because she needs it for her vegan food. When I called and asked what she was doing, she said her vegan food can't be in the same fridge as our food, and it's not fair to make her go all the way to the garage when she's hungry, so she thought taking over the game room kitchenette would be a good compromise. I told Gina I'm done with the vegan cow poop and that she can't be vegan while living in my house. She threw a temper tantrum because she thinks I'm being cruel, and she's barely spoken to me since then, so I wanted to know if I was the a-hole. Edit. About me not changing our meals to suit her. I don't change any of our other meals when the other kids don't like it. They've all known from a very young age that they either eat what we cook or they make something themselves. My 19 years old hates mushrooms. I don't avoid mushrooms to accommodate her. I'll cook with mushrooms whenever I want, and if she doesn't want to eat it, she makes something for herself. This vegan thing won't be any different. I love this. NTA. Another wannabe vegan wanting her family to put their needs aside to accommodate them, and she's 13 nonetheless. You're right to make it known to her that she can be vegan when she moves out. Her requests were ridiculous. She didn't even start going vegan, and she already had so many demands. SMH. Seems to me she wouldn't last a week on a vegan lifestyle, especially as her first move was stupid unnecessary request. Contaminate? Does she even know how to wash dishes?